Every time the topic of camping comes up, I'm reminded of a particular incident in the woods that made me wary of outdoor adventures. Although I don't dislike nature, I prefer the comfort of sleeping in a bed over spending the night on the ground in a tent. However, one year, my boyfriend convinced me to go camping, promising that we'd stay in a cabin instead. While I'd have preferred a beach getaway, the idea of a proper bed swayed me to agree. We planned the trip with two other couples, making it a group of 6. The cabin we chose was secluded, surrounded by forest, and only about 100 yards from a stunning lake. Despite my initial reluctance, I was genuinely excited when we arrived. The first day was perfect. We hiked trails, swam in the lake, and ended the evening with grilled steaks. As the night fell, we went to bed feeling content. Around midnight, I struggled to sleep. Strange noises outside made me uneasy, but I dismissed them as typical woodland sounds. The next morning, as we prepared for a hike, a cheerful voice interrupted us. "Why, hello there! How are y'all doing today?" Startled, we turned to see a tall, stocky man with a gut and hiking gear. He introduced himself as Wayne and claimed to be a local expert on the trails. Although his unexpected visit felt slightly odd, he seemed harmless, even helpful. After chatting briefly, he left. Later that day, as we relaxed by the lake, Wayne reappeared, greeting us with the same enthusiasm. My boyfriend conversed with him again, but I, along with my friend Tina's boyfriend, felt increasingly uneasy. Wayne's behavior, muttering "okay" repeatedly while looking around, was unnerving. That night, as we gathered around a campfire, Wayne jumped out of the bushes, laughing and exclaiming, "Here I am!" His sudden appearance frightened us, and my boyfriend sternly asked him to leave. Wayne seemed hurt, but left after apologizing. Still uneasy, I struggled to sleep that night. Hours later, I heard footsteps and breathing outside our cabin. I woke my boyfriend, who looked out the window and confirmed it was Wayne, pacing and muttering to himself. He even tried to open the door, but gave up after finding it locked. My boyfriend called the cabin owner and the police. While the officers arrived and took our report, their lack of urgency was frustrating. At dawn, we packed and left. On our way out, we saw Wayne wandering along the road, still mumbling and acting erratically. We reported his location to the authorities, but never heard what became of him. That experience solidified my resolve. Camping is no longer for me. A year ago, I joined 2 friends for a getaway to help one of them recover from a tough breakup. Her fiancé of 7 years had just left her, and she wasn't handling it well. Our outdoorsy friend suggested a night in a secluded cottage in the woods. Surprisingly, our heartbroken friend agreed. The cottage was quaint and cozy, surrounded by dense trees. While it wasn't our typical idea of fun, it seemed like a good change of pace. After settling in, though, Our recently single friend got restless. She found a nearby dive bar and insisted we check it out. At the bar, she struck up a conversation with a ruggedly handsome man. They flirted for a while, but eventually, she rejoined us, ready to head back to the cottage. We teased her about her bar friend during the drive, but she brushed it off. Back at the cottage, we had a glass of wine before deciding to sleep in the living room together. One on the couch, one on the love seat, and one in a recliner. It wasn't long before we all dozed off. Around 3 a.m., I felt someone nudging me awake. One of my friends whispered in a panic that she'd heard the doorknob jiggling. At first, I dismissed it, but then I heard it too. The doorknob was shaking violently. Frozen with fear, we huddled together on the couch. The intruder then circled the cottage, their footsteps snapping twigs in the silence. They stopped at the back window, directly behind us, and we heard them trying to open it. Summoning courage, I yelled, "I'm calling the police!" The noise stopped momentarily, and then we heard a chilling whisper. The intruder was saying my friend's name, the one who had flirted with the man at the bar. Horrified, I yanked open the curtain. There he was, the same man from the bar, standing outside with a startled expression. He raised his hands defensively before bolting into the woods. We immediately called the police. Though they arrived quickly, we decided to leave the cottage at first light. Later, we pieced together what had happened. The man must have followed us from the bar, watched us for hours, and waited until we were asleep to attempt his break-in. Worse, the window he was tampering with was unlocked. Though terrifying, the experience gave my friend a new perspective. Grateful to escape unharmed, she began to rebuild her life. That night bonded us forever, but I'll never forget the fear of realizing how close we came to danger.